Hi, welcome to the channel. My name is Susanna Sun. This is the womb goddess that I am channeling for us today to bring through messages of peace, love, and joy for the collective, the divine collective that is in their healing process, their ascension journey, and wishing to receive messages from the highest source for the highest good of all. The first card that I had fall out immediately as I was speaking my intentions there was Justice in Reverse. And I am feeling this with this square off that's currently happening between Mars and Venus. I think that this energy, if you're with me during my current time frame, I believe it's the 22nd of August, then you might be feeling it. Or if you're receiving this afterwards, then you might be having a kind of a ripple wave version of it. But it does feel like this sort of rebalancing whatever might have been previously non-reciprocal in that Venus and Mars relationship for you personally. So this square shape where we have Venus on one corner and Mars in a separate corner is a sort of battle position, right? And it's these two parts of ourselves that are at odds with each other right now. These two parts of ourselves, we want to reconcile them. We want them to become integrated with each other so that they can work together. But at certain stages, it can feel like they're working against each other or working in different directions than each other. So Venus working with beauty and love and pleasure and joy, and then Mars working with our discipline and our action orientation and our warrior aspects of ourselves. So these very different parts of ourselves really squaring off to create that balance in the experience so that it can come around full circle into that justice experience, as the card calls it. So I would like to get some information about where the collective is currently at, what we're currently feeling, what is this like, what is this energy for us, so that people can know if they're relating to the message. If you are catching me and you do relate to it, I'd love to hear in the comments. If you do comment or like or subscribe to me, I am able to read more specifically to you that way. It helps me to tune into your energy, so you can do that if you want to. So I have two different nines here that came out for our current experience for the Divine Collective, one reversed and one right straight up. So the reversal of the Nine of Pentacles is really interesting. It's like, I see this as Venus and this as Mars, actually. And I see the imbalance being, like this overly dominant Mars and, maybe this pattern of being on guard when it's unnecessary, or of protecting ourselves beyond where we actually need it. These sort of coping mechanisms of trying to keep ourselves safe, but in the end, it's actually sabotaging, right? So that's the overactive Mars that's within us, kind of revealing itself to be balanced out. And in this current experience of the overactive, overdominant masculine within us, kind of displaying its swords, right? It does feel debilitating, frustrating, overwhelming. There's a lot of overthinking. It's very self-destructive, right? So this type of thought process is what is coming forward right now to be confronted and balanced out, because it is overly dominant, and the balance of it comes through with Venus, of course, and we see the imbalance here because this one is reversed, right? And this is very relevant for Venus. You see the bird and You do actually see a Venus-like symbol with a flower, and then the pentacles is abundance, right? We have nature, so very Venusian. This card stands for luxury, for feeling good, for enjoying life, very Venusian. But in the reverse, we see that there's an imbalance of this. This is something that we're currently resisting in our lives. Even if you feel like you are experiencing luxury or joy or pleasure, this is telling me that there's more of that that's available to you that you aren't taking advantage of. There is a next level of this that's available that hasn't been integrated yet. And so, I mean, this is the conversation that I'm going through all of the time in my work, right? I'm specializing in working with the womb, wisdom, and the feminine mysteries. So many of us women have felt and noticed that our societal conditioning has put us in this place where we aren't really feeling like it's quite right. There's this level of femininity that wasn't available for us before. And maybe it wasn't available for our parents, for our mother, or for our grandmother, right? Because there was this survival mode that was just necessary to get through. And now, I love to say this, and I hear this kind of constantly, like the whispers of the ancestors that is constantly pouring through. I hear them as long as I'm open to hearing them. I will love to speak. And one of the main things that I hear on repeat from the ancestors, this prayer that's echoing, is that they want their lineage to find peace. They want a woman to be born into their lineage who's able to experience peace and joy and pleasure. And that is what they were fighting for. That is why they allowed themselves to live these really harsh, rough lives of survival, is because they had it in their mind that somewhere down the road, one of their children or their grandchildren would be able to change that story and be able to experience peaceful, healthy relationships. So this is the balancing of the feminine. It isn't just us, right? It is our ancestors as well. And it isn't just right now with Venus squaring Mars. It's just coming up right now because of that. And we're seeing where we've been over masculine and not allowing ourselves to receive, right? The imbalance looks like over giving rather than receiving. So let's tune in a little bit to what it looks like once we balance this out, once we give ourselves permission to really be in our feminine. So first of all, I did have the Lovers come out. So that's a beautiful confirmation if you're looking for love messages, or even if you're just looking for unity in general within yourself, all parts of yourselves holistically integrated into one human. That can be this as well. So this is the coming together of all of those parts, the balancing out of it, right? Really, really beautiful. So that is on its way for us if we give ourselves permission to go into this path of allowing our femininity to be our dominant energy. It's almost an oxymoron, isn't it? So here we have, this is what's coming and what's sort of on its way for us moving forward as we allow more of this balancing to happen, right? So there is definitely still challenge, but it's like the kind of the last of the challenge. There's a couple of steps and we're almost there and we're kind of catching our stride. It's exhausting, but certainly knowing that we're on the right path and that we just have a couple, one more step after this. So we give ourselves permission to feel that, to go through that, to experience it, to feel how strong it's making us. So Really, really beautiful. And then we have the Page of Pentacles in reverse, which again just lets me know like we're still on this challenge about receiving money and support and practical things, you know. And again, I hear the ancestors speaking through it about, you know, there's no shame in allowing yourself to receive. There's no shame in being feminine and allowing another person to validate that by offering something. And when we do give ourselves permission to receive, that's when we have the flow of energy. And that's when we're able to receive more. And that's when we validate the other person's offer, right? So in the resistance mode, it's letting me know that even after we were doing some balancing out in our feminine energy, stepping more into that femininity, we're still challenging ourselves in terms of actually receiving practical support, gifts, finances, that kind of thing. So this is a long haul for us. I do see these ripple waves of the energy. So we have the square right now, but we also have the sun moving into Virgo. And the sun in Virgo with Mercury still retrograde in Leo, right? So that sun in Virgo, I really see right now as being this detail-oriented organization of all of these things. As we're balancing out, there is this rational part of us that's like, okay, let's find all of the places in our lives where we've been living these old stories, where we've been betraying ourselves, when we haven't been receiving what we truly want and desire, when we've been declining gifts out of fear that there's some sort of expectation, you know, that came up for me this past weekend when a friend of mine that I was visiting invited me and asked what kind of food I want and what kind of shampoo I want. And my response was like, it's all good. I've got it. Like I have everything that I need. And I realized in that exchange that by being so self-sufficient that I was actually rejecting my friend's gift, and that was something that didn't feel good for her. And it would have been a really beautiful thing for me to open myself to receive and to allow that gift to come in and allow myself to just accept it, right? And by accepting it, I would validate for her that I appreciate what she's offering. And it's something so small for her, but it does allow that flow to naturally happen. So that's my personal version of that balancing out and kind of looking at it and being like, oh, okay, I see where I've been turning down gifts and offerings that I've been praying for. So yeah, right. I will be available for private readings. I just need to adjust that on my site to make it available, but you can email or DM if you don't see any spots open in my calendar and my link. And I will post this reading up for you to see in the future as well. Again, if you want me to read more specifically to you, any interactions with me will help me be able to tune in more for you, and that is retrospective as well. So if you tune more into me and then you start looking at previous readings, you'll still find that they're more active to you because I'm not restricted by the time lineage. Yeah. So you can do that if you wish to support me. I very much appreciate you. And then if you caught me live, I will be sticking around to do some little cards here. All right, sending you so much love, many blessings.